I have spotlighted you, Shiva. You can start here.
Hello, yeah. Good evening, everyone. This is Shiva here. Today, I would like to talk a topic from the book "What to Say When You Talk to Yourself" about the 5 steps that control our success or failure. See, generally, when everyone want to grow, there'll be almost some positive points also. See, first point is that behavior. The first step is behavior. See, the step that mostly direct controls our success or failure is our behavior. See how we while what we do, what how we do, and behavior means our action. Behave how we behave with people, those things and all determines our growth. And the second one is feelings. Our feelings are determined by our actions. And suppose if you are suppose if you want to do any this one to any feed a child, if she is not interested to have that, her feelings will be different, and she doesn't want to have, but purposefully if you're giving her, she doesn't like, and the feelings, the way that face reaction will be a different thing. Like our growth also determines in our way. Suppose in our offices also, if our bosses holds, and the reaction we shows to them, that as if we are lost something, we'll feel that today is our worst day, like that and all, it determines. And the third one is our attitude. Our attitude are the perspective which we feel. And if you want to do something, and if we know everything, but if someone asks that any I want to do that things and all, say suppose if you have attitude, and if we know also, we doesn't communicate to them properly, and the other people will think, "Arey, this person has lots of attitude." And if other person he knows also, he'll not communicate. Example, I was working in one of my office, and I was a new to that this one system, and the other guy, he was not teaching me anything, and he was showing lots of attitude. And if I went to him, as if he thinks that he knows in and out of the system, like that he was acting. And it shows the way that a person, it determines our actions. And the third one is our beliefs. Our beliefs are turned into our this one mind, that I cannot do anything, and I cannot create, I cannot do anything in if suppose if I want to do some project in that, our mind will think that, "Hurry, I cannot," or we will be thinking that we cannot do it, those things. And it will be rotating that what will happen if you do any good thing, those things and all, it will determine our this one. And finally, the fifth one is programming. And we would have been programmed our mind. Tomorrow if I want to do any some work, that our mind will be thinking the whole night, I can achieve, it will be achieved or not, and it will be failure, it will be a failure, or I'll get success in that. Those things will determine our success or failure. These are the steps that determines our this one, Karthik. That's all, Karthik. Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so much, Shiva. Very nicely explained. This is from which book you mentioned?
What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, Karthik.
It's a great book, right? So basically about the mind programming. I mean, if we are busy coding our softwares, so we can take some time to program our mind also. It is not so easy, but yeah, it can happen. So a lot of things Shiva shared, right? It's absolutely true. Thank you so much, Shiva, for the nice sharing. Again, we'll move to the next speaker. I think we have Surbhi. Surbhi, want to go next? Surbhi
Yes,
is there?
sure, Karthik.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spotlight you.
Yes, thank you. I'll be starting my talk. Today I'll be talking about learnings from the movie Sardar Udham. So let's understand who is Sardar Udham or Sher Singh. Sardar Udham Singh was an Indian Marxist revolutionary freedom fighter, best known for assassinating Michael O'Dwyer in London in the incident of Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, which happened in 1919. He belonged to HSRA party, Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, deeply influenced by Bhagat Singh and his revolutionary ideologies. Before the incident of Jallianwala Bagh, Sardar Udham was just like all of us, a commoner and with a regular life and love story. So what happened in this Jallianwala Bagh incident, which left a void in his heart and which turned him as a legend today. So, what is the Jallianwala Bagh incident? Jallianwala Bagh massacre is also known as the Amritsar massacre. It took place on 13th of April 1919. A large but peaceful crowd has gathered at the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, Punjab, to protest against arrest of pre-independent leaders of India. So, in response to public gatherings, British Brigadier General Rye mercilessly ordered to shoot at the crowd. The troops kept on firing until their ammunition was exhausted. Thousands of innocent people were killed and injured in the incident. It was one of the darkest parts of the Indian colonial history and embodied the Indian fight for independence. So let's now discuss about how did he plan the assassination against Michael O'Dwyer. Jallianwala Bagh incident left Udham Singh, with a void in his heart, and he lost his girlfriend also in the incident. When the incident was taking place, he was working at the factory, and he was late to the incident. When he reached there, he just saw surrounded by dead bodies everywhere. So he was so stunned and shocked by the incident when it took place. He reached there, and then he saw everybody lying on the ground with bloodsheds. He randomly saw everyone who's alive, and he took the Hath Gadi, and then he put all of them on the Hath Gadi and took everyone to the hospital. That incident, even if we think today as a person, even to see that in the movie, it gave me goosebumps. So today, if I see in the movie that picture, that visualization that they portrayed, I think the way he handled, the way Sardar Udham handled that situation, seeing a lot of dead bodies around him, he gathered all his, courage and all his strength, and then even then he tried to help people who are suffering, who are injured, and took all of them around. He took multiple rounds in and out the hospital and the incident place. So that is what that incident and that moment made him a legend today. That made him Sardar Udham Singh today. And the key takeaways that I want to give from this movie are, there is a dialogue in that movie. I don't know if a lot of people have seen this or not, but ये लोग हमें rebels बुलाते हैं. अगर अपने rights मांगना rebellion है, तो है, हम rebels है. This is a dialogue that has been told by Bhagat Singh in this movie. And आदमी को मारा जा सकता है, लेकिन उसके विचारों को नहीं मारा जा सकता. So these are the two takeaways which I think are very strongly depicted in this movie. And the third one is, freedom is our birthright. Freedom is everybody's birthright. And here Bhagat Singh very clearly explained in the movie. The character played by Bhagat Singh clearly explains about what is HSRA party about. We are not terrorists. It's a revolutionary party which is clearly dependent on complete and total independence and equality among every person. It does not support slavery in any point of time. So thank you. Over to you, Karthik.
Yeah, amazing, Surbhi. I think when we also watched that movie last week, so it was very emotional, especially that.
Yeah, that incident.
Jallianwala Bagh. Oh my God! I mean, we have not heard of this guy's name. I mean, I much.
Sardar Udham. Yes. Not even in history, we never recall that hearing about Sardar Udham.
I think Chandrasekhar Azad were like top heroes, but then Sardar Udham was not too much on the list. When we were watching the movie, we realized
never.
when we went to
we don't even
Jallianwala Bagh,
recall him.
Yeah, I remember when we visited Jallianwala Bagh, I think 3.5 years ago, we didn't really know the emotion, but when we saw the movie and actually recalled the the scene and whatever we visited, we actually went to our Google Photos and tried to connect it. I mean, there was so much of emotion in that, and there were a lot of takeaways from that
emotion movie. Right. I was so stunned. 15 days, I was like, oh my God, it is such a impactful movie. That, especially that scene where he takes people from the incident to hospital. Yeah.
Like so damn ruthless.
Seriously.
Okay, thank you, Surbhi. We'll move to the next speaker.
Thank you.
Arsh is there? Arsh, you want to go next?
Sure, sir. Can I start, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Richard Montanez. Who's this? Son of a Mexican farmer living in California with his mother, father, grandfather, and 10 more siblings in a single bedroom apartment. One day, while he was just getting ready for school, he just bursted into tears. His mom asked, "Why are you crying like that?" He said, "In school, everyone knows English so well, and I don't even know a single word." His mom ignored him for a while. His uncle took him to the bus stop, and again he asked, "Why can't I travel in that yellow colored bus? And why always the green one?" He was unaware about the discrimination, but he very well felt that. In the third grade, he brought burritos, a kind of a Mexican roll, to the school for lunch. The classmates saw that for the first time. They wouldn't stop staring at that. Just out of embarrassment, he just hid that box back in the bag. And the next morning, he asked her mom to cook Bellino sandwiches. However, her mom cooked 2 burritos and told him that one is for you and the second one is for your friends to share. By the end of the week, this burritos became so much popular in the school that he started selling those. And he started even earning from them. And at that moment, he realized that there is something special about being different. However, he decided to drop out the school when he was in the 4th grade because he was struggling a lot with the English language, and he opted for the odd jobs in that hot, sweltering summers. By then, he was 18. He was still unable to find a way out from the life of poverty he was living in until one of his friends told that there's a Frito-Lay company out there asking for a janitor. A janitor is a person who mops the floor. He was getting more there, so he just asked help from his wife so that he could help him in that interview. He got selected there, and when he broke out this news in the house, his grandfather gave him a lifelong advice. Montanez, make sure that the floors should shine and let them know that Montanez mopped the floor. He made that promise. He kept that promise. Anytime anyone would enter any of the rooms, they were always shining and they were always clean. As it says, your attitude determines the altitude. It was so much so true in the case of Richard. However, in 1980s, the Frito-Lay company fall on tough times. And the CEO, Roger, encouraged everyone and told every worker to act as the owner. Most of them just brushed it off as a cliche. However, Richard took it to the heart. I didn't know what I was going to do. Neither I want to know. I just only know one thing, that I'll act as the owner. And soon he requested one of the salesmen to visit the inventory, to make him visit the inventory. He scanned all the products of the company and he saw that the products were Lay's and Cheetos, and they all were plain in taste. And besides that, there were Mexican spices. So he got this idea. He realized this opportunity that they're not covering the Mexican market. He stole some of the products, went back home, mixed the spices, and made out this product, spicy hot Cheetos, and served to the family. Everyone liked it. Now, so as to make this idea into reality, it was his turn to get the attention of the CEO, Roger. So he just got his phone number from one of the phone books from that company. He called him. The assistant picked up the phone. Mr. Rogers' office. Who is this? Richard Montanese. What division are you with, sir? California. Oh, so you are the VP overseeing California. No, I work inside Rancho Frito-Lay plant. Okay, so you are the VP of operations. No, I work inside the plant. Okay, so you are the plant manager. No, I am the janitor. She paused for a while. One moment. She corrected him to the CEO and they had a talk. The CEO liked the idea and he told him that I'll be there within 2 weeks. After they hung up, the phone lines started ringing off the hook. The president called the division president, he called the vice president, he called the plant manager. They all were demanding, who is this person who got this guts to call the CEO? And when the plant manager figured out that it was Richard, he just stormed upon him. Do you know who you are? Do you realize what you have done? Everybody's coming now. You have to prepare for a presentation. He got clueless. Terrified, he rushed back to home and asked for help. His wife calmed him down and took to the library. There, they just found some marketing strategies book. He just crammed few of them, and next day he went to the office, to the conference room. Here I was, the janitor, giving presentation in front of some of the most highly qualified executives in America, and he gave the presentation very confidently until one of the executives stood up and asked, how much market share you think you can get? He got blanked, clueless. This question was out of syllabus. He didn't prepare for that. He was just shaking. Then he recalled that the last time he doubted on him and all the learnings he got from that event, he recalled all of them. And without even understanding the question, without even knowing the answer, he just opened his arms wide and he said, that much market share. The entire office fall silent. The CEO stood up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got this opportunity to get that much market share. And he turned towards the janitor. He said, just keep that mop aside. You're coming with us. And in this manner, this idea started off. And later on, it became very successful. And it bagged billions of dollars to the company's pocket. So I hope you liked the story of flemin's Cheetos the same way I loved eating Cheetos when I was a child. Over to you, sir.
Amazing, amazing, Arsh. So where did you get this story from?
Sir, it was from Google, YouTube, and some of my own content.
I really like the way you present, yeah. Amazing. Too good. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so much,
Arsh.
sir.
Did
Yeah.
not
Thank
know
you,
there
sir.
was so much behind Cheetos.
Nikhila, or you around? Is Nikhila available? Okay. Kiran, shall we take intro or we'll take one more speaker?
Yeah, maybe we can take one more speaker and intro.
Shall we take Rohit?
Karthik, your voice reduced. No, you're called Rohit, is it?
Yeah, I called Rohit. Is it audible now?
Yeah, better, yeah.
Yeah, I just heard. Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. Am I on the spot? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. So my topic for today is goals. How to set goals and how to achieve what you want faster. So the goal is a book by Brian Tracy. So in this book, he talked about how you can achieve your goal, and how you can set your goals in an effective manner so that you achieve them faster. We all have goals. The most common goal we all have is lose weight, because most of us are IT professional and we are gaining weights. And for past 2 years approx, we are working from home. So that's a struggle. Now I'll just take this example in my talk. We say I will lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. That's it. और कुछ सोचने नहीं है, बस बहुत हो गया. And this is where we fail, because that's not possible, right? So this is just one example why we fail to achieve our goals. So author says in a nutshell, author just like I just took 3 points out of this whole book. One is the first step is transforming your life is to get your mindset right. If you want to achieve a goal, you need to make your mindset right. What it means that just imagine if you can achieve everything in your life, what you think. Whatever you think, you have the power. God has given you the power to achieve that thing. What you will do, how you will feel, how you will react. Obviously, you react positively. You will be excited. You will be happy. The truth is, it is just the case. You have that power. You already have that power. You already have that potential to achieve anything in your life. What we lack is, we lack to start, we lack to create a mindset to achieve that goal. The successful people are in this world, they know this concept. They know that the power of transforming their life is in their hand. I'll just give you one example of Arjun from Mahabharata. He was asking all his Sisya, he was having 5 Pandavas, and they both were having this arrow, right? And they were asking each one of them, what do you see? Someone said, I see sky. Someone said, I see trees. Someone said something like that. And he asked Arjun, what do you see? He said, I'm seeing the eye of the word, or eye of the face. That's for example. He was knowing his aim. His mindset was proper. He was thinking on his goal. So this is the setting your mindset. He knew that I can hit that eye of the word. He was having the correct mindset, and because of that, we know that he is the best Dhanodhar, or this arrow master, right? Master of the arrow, right? This is because of this quality. So first thing, get your mindset right. Second thing, your goal must be specific. This should have a deadline, and this should also challenge you to become better. What it means that your goal should be specific. That means you should be able to visualize your goal. Let's say in the lots of session of PIM, Vijay sir says that they ask the audience, just write down what you want. Someone says, I want to be rich, I want to be happy, but that is not specific. If you want to be happy, define happiness. For someone, happiness might be getting married. So for someone, might be getting the dream job, right? For someone, it might be getting enough salary, right? So you should be specific, right? Second, it should be measurable. So someone say, I want to be rich. That's not specific. Let's say, I want to make $1 million in next 5 years. That is specific. You can also be more specific. I want to earn 10,000 per month. I will invest in this thing, right? So if you go down to that level of granularity, that will be beneficial for you, right? That will be more specific, and you will be able to achieve that faster, right? It should be time bound. So if I say I want to be millionaire, that should be time bounded. Otherwise, my whole life I can keep trying, right? It will not be done. So I said, right, I will be millionaire in next 5 years, and that this is true for me also. This is my goal actually. And by 2025, this is my goal actually. I want to earn 7.5 crores. That means 1 million in US dollar. That's my goal basically, right? So this should be time bounded. It should be challenging. So you should not be living in a comfort zone. Obviously, if you are living in a comfort zone, you will not be able to stretch yourself. You will not be growing. You might be growing, but that pace will be very slow. So your goals will be challenging. Let's say for some people, they are not able to handle the stress, so they just live in the comfort zone. So in one of the book, I think it was Psychology of Money or some book, I don't know. The author says little bit of stress is good for our health. So because that stress basically stretches our boundaries, our horizon to be better. So if you are not too much stressed, yeah, too much stress is bad, obviously. But little bit stretch is good because you are stretching yourself to become better day by day. Just like gym. If we are going to gym, day by day, our gym instructor asks us to lift more weights, right? No, we are not like 1 year, we are not lifting 5 kg number, right? Next day he will say, just grab 7.5, 10 kg. So that is basically stretching yourself, right? So it should be challenging. Then only your muscles will grow and you will be fit, right? The third thing author says that your soul should be in sync. Your heart and soul should be synced with the goal. Your heart says that you want to achieve that goals. So that means that ask yourself from the deep of your heart whether you really want to achieve that goal or you are just motivated by someone else or you are just following someone. It should be coming from your own heart. Otherwise, you will not be able to give your 100%. You should also believe that that is achievable. You will be able to achieve it. You have the power to achieve. It should also come from your heart. And the last thing, you should be honest with yourself. If you are not honest with yourself that I will achieve it, you will not be able to achieve. And at the end, I will say, whatever can be measured, it can be achieved. That's all. Thank you very much. Over to you, Karthik.
Amazing, Rohit. So to brief it, like it's smart, right? Your goal should be smart enough.
Yes.
Specific, measurable.
Yeah. The fourth thing is specific, measurable, time bound, and the challenging.
Okay. We call it as like smart goal also. So E and R also there.
Yeah. That I think author, maybe he has mentioned. So yeah, smart also, correct. I think Vijay sir covered in one of the sessions, right?
Yeah, that's how I remember. So yeah. So actually, we also started our. Before our New Year, we also wanted to look fit. So and yeah, we also had the same issue, putting on weight because of WFH. So we had
Yes.
been trying for a while, and this time we took a strong decision. And yeah, we both reduced around 6 kgs together this month. I think it's
That is
close
great.
to a month. So we have already.
Congratulations.
Yes, it matters a lot.
Yes. I think the thing is that, things about goal is that I think Vijay sir also said that they are not meant to achieve. They are meant to make you better, to stretch you, right? To get you out of the comfort zone. So even if you are able to, if you are planning to achieve, lose 10 kg, and even if you are like losing 6 kg also, that is also success, right?
Absolutely. Very
Karthik,
true.
your voice is not coming again.
Very true, Rohit. Thank you so much, Rohit, for sharing. So, guys, we have just started. I hope you guys are getting some knowledge. So we have lots more to cover in the second half. But before that, over to Kiran. So probably we'll take an intro and then Kiran has something to plan.
All right. Thank you, Karthik. Awesome. So we have a few new folks. I see that Basil, if I'm pronouncing correctly, and I also saw Vinay. If Vinay joined for the first time, Vinay, I would like to introduce you as well. Maybe you can quickly unmute and share to the audience your name, your profession, where are you joining from, and if someone has invited you, can share that person's name, and maybe one or two expectations out of the community, why the reason you joined here.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Kiran, for that opportunity. My name is Vinay Venkatesh Murthy. I like to keep it short as Vinay V. And I'm from Bangalore, born and brought up here. I've done my college from Sheshadripuram Degree College in Commerce, and I work with HSBC now as a client relationship manager for investment banking for EMEA and US markets typically. So Soundarya introduced me to this particular meeting. The moment she said book, I got excited. And the moment she said club, I said I'm in. Any kind of a club, as long as it's positive, I think it's something which attracts me. That's the reason I'm here. What I'm expecting from this club? I have an open mind. I don't have any specific expectations since this is my first time over here. But I can certainly say in the last 43 minutes, I'm smarter than what I was. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Vinay, for a very smart intro again. As Rohit already mentioned, but thank you so much for joining. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time together. Great. So we do have Basil. Basil, if you're available, maybe you can quickly unmute and share your face as well, if it is comfortable. Yes, I think you're switched on the
Yes.
video. Great. Go ahead with your introduction.
Thank you. I'm Ajmal Basil. I'm from Wayanad, Kerala. Actually, I think I'm the youngest guy in this group because I just completed my graduation, and for an experience, I was working in an NGO named Totem Resource Center, working in the areas of ethnic people and tribes and their development areas. Actually, I did my graduation in law, but I'm not confident about my fluency in English. So, pardon for if that is matter.
That's completely fine, Basil. You spoke really well. We could understand you. I think you conveyed the message loud and clear. And who invited you, Basil? Anyone who invited you, or you joined
No,
by?
I just signed up in the Meetup app yesterday, and just it's my first meeting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good to know, Basil. I hope you have a good time. Maybe Karthik will share
Thank
the
you.
contact details for you to reach out offline for more details. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thanks.
Great. All right. Do we have anyone else who's new? I think we covered almost everyone. So yeah, so today's 5 to 10 minutes of quick group activity which we planned is to basically summarize the learnings of last week's Vijay's PM session. Anyone who has attended, you can unmute and speak. The second thing, people who have applied the learnings from the books, whatever you've been speaking, maybe any recently past 1 or 2 months, any learnings where you have got some results or got some good feedbacks here before you were struggling with this, but you applied the learnings from the book club or from the books which you have read recently and then seen a good amount of change. So that's about it. So it is more to invite the practical learning which you have been doing, and the platform is all about for. So guys, the stage is open for all of you to maybe speak. What are the learnings? If you want to speak from the Vijay's PM session last week, anything you have applied, anything you connected with your life, where you could relate and see the things what he taught us is quite resembling in our personal life and professional life, and we've been applying it. Second is, if you're already reading book from the book club or from outside somewhere which help you to grow personally to the next level, you can also share that learning and your personal experience as well. So over to you. We'll keep this for around 5 to 7 minutes and then we'll move on. So anyone can speak. There is no bar for this. So take your opportunity and you can start sharing.
Okay, just to kill the silence, I think I'll just speak of my learnings from a recent book that I started reading. Since I was suffering from a chronic backache for almost about a few years, I started to take on to learning about self-help and self-healing through multiple different, I would say, healing modalities. So I've done like about 7 certifications in the last 1.5 years about self-healing and alternative medicine as such. So Dr. and Master Zhigang Shah, who is a Western medicinal practitioner, but is currently also a Tao Hands healer and a spiritual guru as such, is one particular person who is in Canada and has published a lot of books which give simple tips, practical tips, followable tips that you can do it on yourself. And these are very simple ones that could actually heal you from multiple ailments. So that book particularly helped me in knowing why exactly a problem actually occurs, and it's not important that we heal at a body level because a disease could come back anytime. You need to heal the soul first, and then the energy forms, and finally followed with the healing related to the body. And that is the same principle applied to any kind of ailment, be it physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So that's in gist what I read about self healing. And the book is called Thou Hands Practitioners or Thou Light Massage. That is what the latest edition says. And there are multiple books of him which I've bought after reading the first one, since it helped me cure my own ailments and I've been able to help others too. So that's a quick intro. Thank you.
That's amazing, Vinay. Do share the name of the book over the chat. Maybe if someone is interested, they can pick. Great. Amazing. Anyone else, guys?
No one is going, Kiran. I thought of sharing one. Uh, the one slide from what Vijay shared in the session.
Sure.
I think he was sharing about the strengths, right? So if you have, one strength, you can be around 64% ahead of others. If you have two strengths, you can be 72% ahead of others. So that's how it's like 81%, 4, 5, 91%. So Vijay was like, at least one or two strength is good enough for you to be ahead of others. I think what are some, that's how at least one or two strengths matters a lot actually. So which you can work upon.
Absolutely. In fact, what Karthik has mentioned, the first step is to figure out your strength, is to be aware of it and know your strength first, because you could have multiple things which you may be confused. Ki, "Acha, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, good at that." You could be multiple, you could be good at multiple things. But to identify the right skills and naturally to know and nurture them is the key. And in fact, that is where even CIR comes into the picture. If Career Impact Report could be a good tool for you to identify that area of strengths and then nurture and then work on top of it as well. So wonderful sharing, Karthik. I think this is one of the best.
Kiran, I would like to share one more from business
Sure.
learning from business system.
Sure.
So I'm sharing my screen again. I'll show you one screenshot. Okay, is it visible?
Yep.
Yeah, Vijay also talk about the forgetting curve.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Quite interesting to know, right? He was talking like when we are learning something new, and if we don't apply immediately, what happens? Like, see, within 30 days, sorry, within no time, like we have just learned, and you will remember 100%. So the retention time is 100%. After 20 minutes, if you don't do and we don't revise that, then it becomes whatever you learned, that becomes 58%. After 1 hour it becomes 45, 44. Then after 9 hours, 36. One day, 34% it reduces. 6 days, 25. 30 days, 31 days, 21%. So the learning here is like whatever you learn, either from book club or from BPM session or from wherever you learn something, start applying immediately so that you can retain it much. And that is what I remember. One more exercise Vijay asked us to do, that is about he showed some picture of eating some, maybe it's a kind of Buddha pav or something. If you someone asked, so whether if someone offers this one, whether you would like to have it or not. So he was showing, I think, the fruits, some kind of fruits he was showing. So whether, so he said that most of the people, they will say, okay, this is good for health, and I will have it. If I get an option, I will have it. But actually, when the time comes, okay, people do not do that. They will prefer to the other kind of thing, chatpata things. Okay, so that is kind of that is a kind of long-term decision. So when it is long time, then people say it's spell it correctly. Many people do it correctly. But immediately when someone asks you to give you some fruits to eat, you will not like it. Many people do not like it. So that is the immediate decision. Suppose if uh, I'm putting some alarm early in the morning to get up, but I want to get up, but when the time comes, I stop the alarm. I sleep some for some more time. So that is a normal people's behavior. Many people, we all have that kind of behavior. And once we recognize this behavior, then we can work on those behavior and get it rectified for our benefit. So this is what no, I wanted to share from business session.
Absolutely. It's a truly amazing, Chachu, the way you have documented it because it was quite visible there. And definitely the content which Vijay brings from HBR and this multiple sources after 1 week of complete R&D and D and shares that with like बोलते ना कि वो दूध में जब आप घी निकालते हो lot of thing goes initially and ultimately what the cream of it you get it in one session and that's what Saturday and Vijay brings with all passion and that is really amazing. Straightly connects with us and we can really apply those learnings. So see that today we learned about we learned the retention part last week. I'm not sure how many people applied actually. Honestly speaking, even I couldn't apply those part of learnings for 60 to 70%. Still, I'm not perfect. 20 to 30% I do apply based on my awareness. If I'm focused fully there in at PIM session, after 1 hour, I'll review my notes, what I've written in PIM, just to revise कि अच्छा ये मैंने पढ़ाई किया, उसको सारे defragment करके अपने learning में लेके आया. And I always make sure कि the learnings which I learn there, I talk to people continuously so that I don't forget. I talk to Karthik San or I talk to some other PIM student, or I ultimately include all those content into book club also, or maybe I talk to all few of my colleagues at office. But I never stop not sharing. And that always keeps me to retain the content much faster. The good stories, the good content, and the good numbers which we see. More we repeat, the more we share. It actually retains, and eventually, when you start applying right away, it actually becomes 100%. So it's good learning. Application is the key, and let's be aware for that and make wonder things to happen for us. Amazing. Thank you so much, Chacho, for sharing that. All right. So we'll move on. I think we have again people who spoke, who took the opportunity to speak. That's it. You received it. So Karthik, over to you now.
Thank you, Kiran. Thanks for the nice wrap up. Who wants to go? Nikhila, you want to go next?
Yes, sir. I can go now. Okay, yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, yeah, today I'm going to start my topic with a riddle. Yeah, so there is a riddle that says that 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. Out of those 5 frogs, only one decides to jump off. So, what do you guys think that how many frogs are left? Any guesses? So 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. In the discussions, one frog decided to jump off from that pad. So out of in the end, how many frogs are left there? Okay.
This is a very difficult math.
ये तो भाई जेई से भी difficult question है.
वहीं पे जंप कर लिया उसने शायद.
I am not able to see chart.
It's there, Nikhila.
I can see only my screen.
We'll tell you who has written anything.
Okay.
Rohit wrote 5, I wrote 5, Soumya wrote 0,
Okay.
Basil wrote just decided, not jumped any 5. So Surbhi also 5. Now people are smart.
Yes, yes.
Arsh told 4. Now he laughs.
So basically, again, this is a story that I have taken from the Google. So yeah, whenever anyone asks this question, suddenly that comes to our mind like, yeah, 4 frogs are left, but it's not
but it is not 4, it is 5. So the frog that is decided to jump off is it just took a decision, but it did not take an action. So yeah, again it's a life problem. So yep, coming to the point, whatever we think, we have to make sure, we have to analyze that whether we are putting that in an action or we are just thinking about it. Are we really taking a step to get the results? Yeah, so it is always it is always end of the day, action that we take matters a lot. So moral of the story is, be the frog who not only decides to jump off but actually jumps. So this is what I would like to bring it to this book club today. Thanks for this opportunity, sir. Thanks, everyone.
Nikhila, one quick question before Karthik speaks.
Okay.
So, when was the last time happened with you that whatever story you just showed, that you have decided but you couldn't act, but you realized later, oh, I just decided I didn't act, and my one year went, my 6 months went, 1 month went.
Yeah, 1 year went, sir.
So what was that one thing which happened with you? I am sure everyone has that, although they are telling
Not
very
only
smart.
1 year, it happens with me every day, but these days I am consciously putting effort so that I don't miss I don't miss to put any idea into the action. So that is what I'm making sure right now. But honestly saying, I just think a lot, but I don't put into action. But I am being very careful these days.
Amazing, good. Now you'll remember this book club and PM will make sure you're aware of it, and all of us. So, thank you.
And one more thing, now I'm participating in these book clubs, right? So I heard one more story that Vijay sir was telling about Gandhi. So one person came and that mother asked him to not to eat sugar. He will not say for next. He will ask him to come for the next week. Next week, he will say that dialogue, right? So now you don't sugar because last week I could not say because I'm not doing that. So that is also runs in my mind. If I don't do, then I should not say. And last week also you spoke about this point in that leadership point. So all these things, I'm just practicing it.
Great, good to know, Nikhila. Thank you so much. All right, over to you, Karthik. Sorry for interrupting in between. Thank you, Nikhila.
Kiran, absolutely. So that is very true. It happens with everyone. So if you have an accountable partner, right, he or she will be able to stretch you so that you will put the action. I mean, that's how I lost 3 kgs because of that. Like I have to report to Prakshal. What did I eat today? Did I work out today? Did I complete my 10K steps? So yeah, thank you so much. We'll quickly move. I think we have Nikita. Nikita is there. Is Nikita available?
There are two Nikitas. Which one?
Both are same.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't know if she can hear.
No, I can hear. I'm listening. It's me. But can I go a bit later, please? I'm just not in a place where I'm sitting down. That's it.
Yeah, sure. No issues.
Thanks.
Who else is there? Okay, shall I go next? Okay.
Karthik, your voice is breaking in between.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So can I go next if anybody is there? Nobody is there. Yeah. So Kiran, can you spotlight? Yeah, we'll quickly go. I mean, we have to do a group activity. So can you guys quickly turn on your video if you have turned off? Can you quickly turn on your video for just for a minute? We have some group activity. Okay. So based on, I mean, my talk is based on this activity. That's why please turn on.
Soumya, Nikita, Saundarya.
Yeah, if possible.
Puneet, Balaji, Apurva.
Okay, I'll start the activity in 3 seconds. If anybody wants to turn on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I give you 2 seconds extra. Okay, so I'll just hope my video and audio is fine, right? So I'll give some instructions. Okay, quickly you have to tell what do what I tell. Okay, already right? Already ready? Right? Ready? Okay. Okay. So touch your ears. Okay. touch your head. Okay. Touch your eyes. Touch your chin. Touch your chin. Who touched cheeks? Shiva touched cheeks.
Everyone.
Nikhila touched
Nikhila,
cheeks.
Kiran,
Kiran
Kiran
touched
Everyone.
cheeks.
changed.
Okay.
Myself.
Yeah. Right. So I want to quote this. So if what you say, I don't hear. What you do is loud and clear. So let me repeat it. What you say, I don't hear. What you do is loud and clear. Right. Hi guys, this is Karthik here. By profession, I am into software, and by passion, I am hash relationship growth coach. So I was continuing this book, right? I was talking about this book, John Maxwell's book on communication and connection, right? So I mean, if you see, if you go back to your college days, do you remember two teachers having the same syllabus, teaching same stuff, but one teacher comes, you all want to enter the class, but if the other teacher comes, you want to bunk the class, right? Same thing happens. There are two managers leading two different teams. If one manager tells guys, you have to stretch today, there is more work, right? His team will be willing to do it, but other manager says his employees are not willing, like they will be, I mean, they will refuse and they'll try to escape, right? So what is the difference between these two teachers or these two managers, right? The words are same, but the connection the teacher has towards his or her students, or the connection the manager has towards his team is different. Okay. And that connection actually matters a lot. So what is this connection about? Okay. It's a very generic thing, right? So how can we improve this connection? Okay. What are the specific things we can do? We can implement right away in our personal, professional, business, everywhere, right? So coming to connection, the author says, when we speak, when we communicate, right, only 7% accounts for the words, right? 38% accounts for the way we tell, right? And 55% accounts for how the other person receives it, right? 7% is the words, 38% the way we tell it, and 55% how the other person receives it, how the other person sees it, right? So if you see, the majority is this 55%, right? So let us understand how we can tackle this 55% audience, right? I give you 4 simple steps, right, which you can easily implement. Very simple. I mean, you would have known it, but the question is if you are doing it, right? So first thing is connecting visually, right? So when you connect visually, what are the things that matter, right? Obviously, body language, the way you present yourself, okay, and what else, like your face. I mean, your face, even if you don't speak, sometimes your face itself speaks everything, right? And it needs only 7 seconds to make the right first impression. I hope you agree, correct? And are you having distractions, right? There should be not, I mean, like if let's take you want to connect with your spouse on some important matter, is TV running in the background or is YouTube running in the background? No, right? So you have to shut everything. There should be no distraction. Or if you have a very important meeting with your client or a customer, right? You're meeting him outside, let's say, okay, do you prefer a noisy place or do you prefer a quiet place, right? So there should be no distractions, and the surroundings, you should take care of the surroundings and the environment, right? And one more thing is the way you carry yourself, right? Do you have any sense of purpose when you carry yourself, when you walk, right? So have you heard this, these robbers or thieves, right? How do they find their victims? Okay, if somebody is walking very confidently and alertly, right, they will let them pass, and they will take care of another victim who is not so confident or who is not aware, right? He will be the victim of this robber. So connecting visually, okay, that is one main thing which matters a lot. The second thing is connecting intellectually, right? So obviously the subject, we call SME, right? Subject matter expert. So do you have that subject matter knowledge, or right, that matters, and are you living it, right? Are you experiencing it, or you live? Otherwise, if you don't experience it, if you're not living it, I mean, it doesn't come out of the horn, right? So intellectually, when you live that personal experience, right, it will connect to the audience, because that brings credibility. Okay, note this word, credibility, right? So this is about connecting intellectually. Third thing is connecting emotionally, right? So great leaders always connect, I mean, they win hearts and minds of others. So if you observe, hearts come first and then the minds, right? So these emotions, when you talk to people, they don't remember what you said, or they don't even remember what you did to them, but they remember how you made them feel, right? You would have known this, all right? That is what matters, that emotional connect. So if you put emotions to it, there will be like passion, right? You can know this word passion. Okay, so connecting intellectually, connecting verbal, emotionally, and one more last fourth point is connecting verbally. So obviously words also matter at the end, and it has the power to change the world, right? So how do you how do we get the wise man's wisdom or the ancient, so many things, we get so many quotations, and the words matters, also matters, actually, right? Also the how, the tone, the pacing, the volume, right? All these things also matter when you communicate, right? So these four things are visually, second is intellectually, the emotionally, and fourth thing is verbally, right? So when you speak verbally, it gives conviction. So if you, to summarize all three, like it will bring credibility, passion, conviction, if you follow these four principles, right? And to give a quick example on conviction, do you remember attending any town hall meetings in your office or outside, if any person representing some company sharing their vision or sharing what the company does? Okay, a lot of times if you see, they share some information, but they lack conviction. Okay, so I'm not sure if you have observed it. On the contrary, if you see, have you observed Kiran sharing the vision of PIM or the vision of Growth Express, or even I also share with others, because we have that conviction in us, right? So because it's not just Vijay's or Kiran said, it's all ours. So I think you all agree unanimously that every week the way you talk, definitely there is an improvement, right? And the way you perform at your work or productivity or your personal life, there is a growth. Okay, if there is growth, then the mission of Growth Express is fulfilled, the vision of PIM also is fulfilled, right? So that's how we have so much of conviction when we speak. Okay, so it matters a lot, or when you implement all those four things. So one-on-one, to summarize everything, when you want to connect with one-on-one, there should be no disturbance. You should pay attention to the person whom you're talking to, right? And see, also pay attention to what isn't being said, right? And also emotionally you can connect. Okay, maybe one-on-one you can give shake hand, or you can hug, or okay, but yeah, like take care when you're dealing with the opposite gender. So when you're connecting with the group, right, again, so you set your example, right? When you set the example, as I said, people do not hear what you say, they only see what you do, right? When you set the example, your team follows it, right? When you connect intellectually, see what the group is good at, okay, add value in that growth aspect, okay, so that they'll improve. And also, if you want to connect emotionally, reward their effort, okay, reward their work ethic. One-on-one, in group, I've told. So before I end, I'll just share this small snippet from this book. Okay, so I hope you're able to see. Something I know but do not feel, my communication is dispassionate. Something I know but do not do, my communication is theoretical. Okay. Something I feel but do not know, my communication is unfounded. Something I feel but do not do, my communication is hypocritical. Something I do but do not know, my communication is presumptuous. Something I do but do not feel, my communication is mechanical, right? So I hope it added some value to you and you can start implementing it. Thank you so much, and over to you, Kiran.
All right. Awesome. So concentrated, so rich in content, and so many things to learn. And in fact, Karthik really covered the book and took a critical aspect of it and shared how do you do the communication so that you can go to the next level of influencing people and add value. So amazing, Karthik. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we'll move. Maybe I think anyone else is there, Karthik, or shall I go ahead? I have
Nikita, will Nikita go ahead next?
If Nikita is there, maybe she can go ahead.
It's okay, Kiran, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So how many of you were there the last week when I covered about the self-aware leader, the latest book of John C. Maxwell? Pretty amazing book. And I added a couple of 3 to 4 points. Why do your people quit on you, or why do your employees quit? Does anyone remember the points? People quit leaders who devalue them. People quit leaders who are untrustworthy. People quit leaders who are incompetent, and people quit leaders who are insecure. Okay. So today I'll cover a few points around how do you retain your team, or retain your employees, or retain people you work with, complementing the talk which we did in the last week. Okay. And maybe I'll add a few of the personal example possible. And there's a beautiful quote, just to cover my talk within time. I have learned this from Vishal. Vishal speaks it very nicely. He says, समय अधिक नहीं चाहिए, but उसी समय में अधिक चाहिए. हमें समय अधिक नहीं चाहिए. We don't need too much of time, but we need to do too much in that specific amount of time. That is the key. So if you want to do so many things, that take a block of time and do the maximum output of possible. So okay. So just to start with, so if you really want to become a good leader and retain your team and lead them, first point to remember, you cannot add value to anyone if you devalue them. And when last week, when I told you what the feeling of devalue is, that internally, if you don't value people, internally you don't value the skills, your body language, the way you talk to them, it reflects. They will understand ki you treat them nicha, matlab you treat them less, below. And the moment you do that, then the thread actually never connects. And Karthik mentioned about relationships. So the first point to actually retain people or lead your organization, and so that people don't leave you directly, is to take responsibility for your relationship with them. It's your responsibility to take that relationship to the next level. It's not their responsibility. So if you're a leader, you need to make sure that if you're talking to them one-on-one, if you're making good connection with them, if you're solving their roadblocks in the challenging or the work which they do, if you're able to connect to that level where you can inspire them, you can touch their hot buttons, which will inspire them, bring them from bottom to top. And then every time when they talk to you, they would feel awesome. So the first responsibility that you need to take, if you are a leader, take the responsibility of the relationship with others. Okay. And the second point, which will be quite relevant for all of you, is when people leave me, because you cannot be perfect. People have left me as well in the past. People will still leave me. Maybe people will leave you as well in between. So when people leave me, do I do an exit interview? Kind of a corporate line, right? Do you do exit interview? But to be really honest, how many of you really say truthfully, if you have left the company, to your manager, ki this is the reason I left? Many people, they don't share out of a fear that if I say something wrong, and tomorrow if I want to make some mutual connect, because you don't want to spoil relationship, right? You might hurt an ego to your manager कि अगर मैं बोल दूंगा गड़बड़ से कुछ गलती तो ये relationship खराब हो जाएगा मेरा. So you, out of fear, you don't share, and vice versa to the manager. And the manager also itself doesn't know कि whether he has built that foundation enough in the first place to get the right feedback from his particular team member who is leaving, whether he is leaving because of him genuinely. If yes, maybe you should ask us forgiveness and then move on, take a high road of it. If not, then at least you will be clear कि चलो at least मेरी वजह से तो लोग छोड़ के नहीं जा रहा है. It is his issues, or it is his preference. He want to grow and he want to go ahead. So second point, when people leave me, I do an exit interview. So that is the reason it is very essential to have a good relationship in the first place. The third point, I put a high value on those who work with me. And to support this is a very beautiful quote. It's wonderful when people believe in their leader, isn't it? It's super wonderful when people believe in the leader. Actually, it is more wonderful when the leader believes in people. So it's wonderful when people believes in the leader, but it's more wonderful when the leader believes in people. So when you put high value on your team, on a particular task, a particular project, a particular goal you want them to own or end-to-end own and deliver, then eventually when you help the person to execute and he gets success, your belief in your team increases, his belief in you increases, and eventually you create a growth atmosphere. All right, and this has happened multiple times. To all of you who are there in the book club, you already see that the learnings which we learned from the Vijay and a lot of coaches and whatever thing we have learned, I try to make sure at least 10% can go to the people who I'm talking to, and maybe Karthik, Rohit, all of you can maybe do much better than how I did, and to take it to the level where the impact and the influence is super high and the learning becomes so fun that people want to learn every single week and every single day and implement in their life. And the feeling of growth is priceless. And that feeling, if I can pass on to you and you can pass on to others, I think we all have a wonderful future, and the generation which is coming up, it will be amazing. India will be a better place, and the society will be a better place to live around us. So the third point. The fourth one, I put credibility at top of my leadership list. I talked about this last time as well. Credibility is all about being honest and truthful to your team, even if it is sad or even if it is not that great. So what is credibility in our case? So multiple times. So we did start doing multiple book clubs in the start of the session, if you remember last 1 year and all. We tried to execute 3-4 book clubs at a time, but we realized there was some gap. So we came back to one, so that the quality does not reduce, but still we can maintain the quality and add more and more value, add more and more value to people's life. So credibility is that people, when they see and you acknowledge the fact that things may go well for a certain period of time, if it doesn't go, are you changing and are you accepting that change and moving on and taking the people with you, is something I could see very clearly. And that same way happened with Vijay also while I was walking, and same way many companies, if the company is good, your manager, your leader will say to you honestly, ki acha theek hai, revenue fallback hua, iske liye ye hua, you're trying to mitigate these things and we would need your support. Transparency will always help as long as the trust is developed. The fifth point, I recognize that when positive emotional health creates a secure environment for people. If myself, I'm not positive, I'm not optimistic about my work, about my vision, people cannot feel that the same way. And then when the tough time comes, when I'm so panicked and don't know what to do, definitely people will leave you, because nobody wants to die. They want to save themselves first. So it is very important for you to be positively emotionally healthy, because if you're not emotionally healthy, your leadership influence will get affected. So if any one of you are finding yaar log meri baat kyun nahi sun rahe, why these people are behaving like this, why this is happening like this, just check your emotional first. Maybe you are vibrating something negative to people and people are going away from you. Just an emotion check. And when you are having that, I personally, what I do, I stay away from people. If I'm not emotionally positive, I don't want any negative to go to my friends, family. In fact, I don't even share any negatives to my family. The only negatives when I share is with my coach or a mentor, because the negative and the feedback what I get from them is particularly enough for me. But I hardly share any negative to people as long as it is not required. It is personal for my life. So that is where it is. You have to create a secure environment for people. The last point is, I will have a teachable spirit, nurture my passion for personal growth. So these five point and 6 point is quite interconnected. So until unless we have teachable spirit, if I can't learn with what Vinay shared today, I think Vinay shared a wonderful book. He mentioned in the book, maybe I'll just go through and see what's learning there. If I'm not teachable enough, if I'm not open enough to pick some points and use that points, help other people and share that knowledge to other of my team, eventually leading to a common goal, then maybe the next level of growth is still, the lid is still capped. And I can't put my lid on my people. If I have some roadblock in my mind, I can't put that roadblock or lid to my team, because then their growth will get hampered. So my teachable spirit, my passion for personal growth is very, very essential for my team to grow to the next level. So just to summarize all these 6 points quickly, so that you can evaluate about yourself and see if you're leading a team and if you're working with multiple people, then you don't be a roadblock for their growth. Is first you take the responsibility for the relationship with them. And when people leave you for any certain cause, you're working together, do an exit interview or talk privately and understand why they're leaving you or whatever things is happening, and put high value on people who work with you, and put credibility at the top. It is not easy, trust me. Credibility is something I also used to struggle, what to say, what not to say. It is quite confusing. That is the reason having a coach or mentor might help you, but credibility has to be at the top. And fifth is, recognize your positive emotional health will always create secure environment. So you need to be in the journey of personal growth and be a teachable spirit. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, Kiran. Again, so many nuggets. I guess we have to go back to the recording and listen again to implement more.
Master.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So Nikita, I see you are there.
Yeah, me, right? Not Nikita ji. Okay. All right. So I am actually not going to talk from a book or anything. I wanted to talk about a personal experience. And this is because thankfully, a lot of people from the book club have been reaching out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp as well, and saying to me that they find me quite inspiring, they like the way I speak, and um, asking for tips. What can they do? And I'm not going to name anybody because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. But all I want to say is, for all these people who've been reaching out to me, you know who you are. This is for you. Okay. So the thing is, sorry, and there I recognize there are a few new people. Hi, I'm Nikita, by the way. So yeah, so people who've been reaching out to me, I'm going to say that it's really flattering that you find me inspiring and whatnot. But what I recognized from all those phone calls that I've had with these people, or LinkedIn messages, WhatsApp messages, is that their lives, I found them to be a lot more inspiring and motivational. What we tend to do is we look at other people, and it's great to get inspired by someone. But when you look at somebody else and think, wow, I wish I were like them, what we sometimes fail to do is look at your own self. Okay. And that's why the topic of what I wanted to discuss today was reflection and inspiration. So people tell me they find me inspiring, and I just want them to stop and reflect upon their own lives. People who have reached out to me have told me their stories, where I think a lot of you as well have come from backgrounds where, we've had people telling me that they went to vernacular mediums, didn't feel confident speaking in English, and now there are people who speak amazingly well in this book club itself. There are people who have had good hardships, good amount of hardships in their life, come from poor backgrounds and whatnot. For me, I will admit that I have been extremely lucky. And what I want to say is, you can't choose where you will be born. You can't choose what family you will be born into, how rich, how poor, what school you go to, and where you end up. But yes, what you can choose is the course of your life. Now, I was fortunate enough to be born into a well-off family, go to an international school, and have jobs abroad, end up marrying a really good guy. And all of that went really well for me. I can afford to be a housewife, do nothing, and still my husband says nothing and kind of lets me spend the money the way I want to. And that's me. And if you find that inspiring, I don't know what to say. And then people are there who have come from really difficult backgrounds, have to not just look after their own education, have to have a part-time job, feed their families, feed their younger siblings, take care of their education and everything, and then make somehow time to attend growth opportunities like this and then grow. I find that inspiring. Me coming from a political background, going to an American finishing school and learning how to do public speaking, for me, that's not inspiring. For me, what's inspiring is you, all of you, despite whatever hardships you go through, having a full-time job and still coming here and growing. I think that's inspiring. So just to finish off, I'm going to say that, which something I keep telling my daughter as well, if you are climbing 100 steps, okay, you've got 100 steps to climb, you're probably on the 5th step now, or 50th or 90th. Wherever you are on your journey, if you constantly keep looking in front of you, oh, I still have 50 more to go. Even if you're on the 90th, you keep thinking, oh, I still have 10 more to go. You're never going to feel satisfied. And that's when you see someone on the 99th or the 100th step, you think, ah, they're so lucky, I wish I were them. But just for once, take a look back, look how far you've come. And that's what I keep telling people. And maybe going forward is hard, but if you've come even one step ahead, then keep telling yourself, I could do that. I can do this one more time. I can do this again. It has to be just one step at a time. Look back, because look how much you've attained in your own life, instead of looking at other people and thinking, wow, I wish I were her. Trust me, I have not had any hardships in my life. And I keep telling, I was talking to Kiran the other day, I I've never had to apply for a job. I've never had to apply for education. Everything was served to me on a silver platter. I was so-called lucky. I met someone on the bus or the tube or whatever, and they said, oh, we hit a conversation. They were like, wow, this is amazing. Do you want to come work with me as a partner, not even as an employee? And this is how things just happened for me. I was lucky. And there are lots of people who have, like Rohit was talking about the other day, went to how many, Rohit? 80, 70 job interviews and then got a job finally. I've had to do none of that. I would have probably quit even on my second interview, I suppose. So I think all of you are a lot more inspirational than me. Just take a pause, look back at your own journey, give yourself a pat on your back, think how much you've accomplished. And if you could do all of that, you can do a lot more. I have done nothing compared to all of you guys. And I feel so ashamed when people say, wow, you're amazing. And trust me, I'm nothing compared to all of you. So thank you for reaching out to me. But just pause 1 minute, look back at your own achievements, not just what you've got in front of you. Stop, look back, and then keep going. Okay, give yourself a pat on your back, celebrate yourself. That's about it. Thank you.
Nikita, you need to help Arsh. He had a good statement.
What is it? Sorry, I couldn't see the chat. What was it?
Arsh types, wow, what a luck. Let's find a business girl for myself.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, I was going to start my talk. I was going to see if I can do a Zoom poll or something. And I was thinking about it for a week now. And I thought I'd ask you all these questions, like how many of you have failed at least once? How many of you have gone through some struggle and got back up again? And I can't think of a single struggle that I have been through. The only struggle that I have probably been through was labor pain. And even that, I gave up. I was like, nope, not doing this. And they had to operate finally. I was the only person in that hospital. I had 7 doctors, 4 nurses in my birthing room, and I had no medical condition, no problem whatsoever. Still, I was just not doing it. So that's me. I can just go not doing it, and I still get okay with things because all those 7 doctors said, right, we're going to help her out. But yeah, people would have, my mom was telling me, you're lucky you were not in India, and they would have just kicked you out of there right then. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think and again, I was talking to Karthik the other day saying that Karthik reached me out on Instagram and said, do you want to come? And it's like, why not? I have nothing else to do, so why not? And there are people who look for meetups and whatnot and then join. For me, things have been served to me on silver platter. So definitely there's nothing inspiring about me. So yeah, just look into your own lives, guys, seriously.
Thank you so much, Nikita. In fact, I think the talk itself is quite inspirational to many people. That inspires people, the way you put across, and very honestly speaking, the thing you reflect about your life and being an inspiration to others itself is really amazing. So although you say that it is not inspirational, but somehow people derive their inspirations from your the way you speak, the way you put across the messages, and the small learnings you take out from your life and from your father, from your mother. Those things are quite inspiration for many people. So keep inspiring us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
All right.
I think,
Great.
maybe Kiran, as Vijay tells, no, in previous Janma, maybe she would have done a lot of hard work. She's enjoying now.
Yeah, definitely. Good karmas always yields good results.
I really don't know. I honestly don't know.
That should.
Great.
We'll quickly take a pic, Kiran, before we move on to Q&A.
Yep. I have to leave a little bit early today, so we'll quickly take a pic. Guys, you can bring the book.
Can get books, girls can get
Basil, you want to turn on? Basil,
Divicha cheetos.
Arsh, Soumya, Soundarya, Puneet, Balaji.
Sorry, what should I do?
Just turn on your camera. I'll just take a pic.
Okay. So.
Oh, nice.
uh,
Mindset. अच्छी book है वो.
Hey, you are already in our growth journey.
Yeah, I'm reading it now nowadays.
Nice, nice. We'll hear from you next week. So I think Soundarya is trying to turn on, but the video is black. Okay. So I'll take 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. One second. I'll just take another pic. Okay. Ready? Steady. Remember your paste and smile. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, done.
Remember your face.
So.
I think we have come to the end of the session, guys. So if you have any questions, we can take. Shall I stop the recording?